So last night I saw the movie Where The Crawdads Sing, and this movie was very fascinating. I feel like the movie had a lot of unique and thoughtful ideas, themes, and symbols that I could break down. Like Chase's death, why Tate left Kaya, the meaning of the title of the movie, and why Chase pursued Kaya. And the ending, with the meaning of Kaya's death, her mother showing up spiritually, and Tate crushing the shell at the very end of the film. I feel like I have a really thorough analysis for this film, so I hope you enjoy it. And anyone who has read the best-selling book, I would love to read and discuss your insights in the comments, so please let me know. So to break this movie down, we're going to use two themes. One, misery of solitude. We'll discuss Kaya's family, Tate abandoning Kaya, Chase marrying another woman, Kaya's loneliness, and the meaning of the title of the movie. And two, predator versus prey, where we'll discuss Kaya's enemies, Kaya's intelligence, why Chase pursues Kaya, and the ending with how Chase died, the meaning of Kaya's death, and her mother showing up, and Tate crushing the shell by the shore, and much more. And if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and a comment, it helps so much. And if you want to see more of these, please make sure to subscribe as well. Let's get started. Theme number 1, misery of solitude. Chronologically, the story begins with our main character, Kaya, as a very young girl. Her father is very abusive and volatile, so every individual member of the family eventually leaves the home. And I feel like this opening sequence establishes the theme of seeking a sense of belonging. Every main character in this movie is either losing, struggling with, or discovering their sense of belonging. After Kaya's mother leaves, no one in the family feels safe or loved by a father like Kaya's, so the children each find their sense of belonging elsewhere. Tate and Chase are accustomed to a 60s era Western community with several friends, family, and acquaintances. This is why Tate doesn't come back for Kaya on the 4th of July. Tate has been battling with himself, struggling to decide between his sense of belonging in the natural world, where he spent a lot of his time as a kid, or the 60s era Western world, where he is expected to spend a lot of his time as an adult. And someone like Chase was never accustomed to the natural environment of the marsh. This is why Chase marries another woman while he claims he loves Kaya. And we'll certainly dive much deeper into Chase's relationship with Kaya later in this video. Kaya, on the other hand, doesn't need a town or a city. She doesn't even want it. Kaya is so attached to the wild animal and plant life that she has nature as her community. She can live alone within the ecosystem of the marsh, and through her passions for the natural world and her upbringing, she prefers this lifestyle. This story really highlights the difference between alone and lonely. The two words are often used synonymously, but this story really emphasizes that they're very different things. Kaya is actually way more lonely when she's in town with all the townsfolk, as opposed to when she is alone by herself in the marsh. This is why on her first day of school, she runs back to the marsh and never returns. And the two characters who Kaya connects with the best for the majority of the story is the black couple, Jumpin and Mabel. They too feel more lonely when with the townsfolk because of how they are treated for the color of their skin. Kaya, Mabel, and Jumpin are all outcasted for reasons that are way beyond their control. They empathize with and understand one another's adversity so well that they basically become family. To me, it's one of the most poignant and clever aspects of the entire film. And when Kaya is on trial and hears about the death sentence versus 10 years in prison, she says to her lawyer Tom, "I need to get out of here, one way or the other." Kaya would prefer most of all to be free, but she would rather die than live in the cell for 10 years. Because living in the cell for even just 10 years for her would be a fate worse than death. It's the ultimate form of loneliness and solitude for her. She's away from nature, very few people would visit, she's confined to a cell, and she's ridiculed and shunned by the community surrounding her. And this entire theme ties in with a line from Kaya's brother that actually mentions the title of the film. "Go as far as you can, way out yonder, where the crawdads sing." It would have to be incredibly quiet to hear crawdads, but the expression captures the peace that Kaya finds when alone in the quiet of the marsh. It's like a transcendent escape, away from the rules, away from judgment, away from the abuse, and away from the ignorance. But sometimes, running away from your enemies isn't enough, which brings me to theme number 2, predator versus prey. Throughout this movie, Kaya is always being hunted. She's always prey. She's always escaping and hiding from various predators in her life. Predators like her father, the town, the prosecutor, the jury, the developers that are trying to take over her property throughout the film, and the most central predator of the film that I'm going to get to later in this video. And through all of this treacherous adversity, she learns to discover and develop her own strengths for her survival. Kaya's main strength is that she's incredibly intelligent. She's astute, creative, and clever. She very quickly learns to largely live off the land. She learns to sell mussels as a very young girl. She's a wonderfully detailed artist, and when she becomes literate, those around her now very clearly see her intelligence as well. She's able to publish her own books, to buy the house and property on the marsh that before she had no chance of affording. What I found most interesting about the way Kaya's intelligent mind works is that she uses nature to learn more about humanity. She compares and contrasts the differences between humanity and nature to learn more about the people and things around her. And it allows the story to very deeply explore themes like predator and prey, means of survival, sense of belonging, and self-defense, which I really want to talk about right now. Chase is the central predator of the film. Chase is popular within his community and comes from a well-off family. I believe there's a side of Chase's life that he deep down really wants to escape, and he finds that in Kaya. However, he is such a selfish and entitled person that he wants the best of both worlds, having someone like Kaya in his life in secret, while living a successful and privileged life with his fiancée. And when Chase doesn't get what he wants from Kaya, he releases all of that entitled rage and frustration onto her, doing a series of unspeakable things to her when she refuses to be with him. And this is where Kaya decides to no longer run away and hide from her predator, but to develop her own method of self-defense, her defense mechanism. And there's a line at the dinner table that captures this perfectly. And I'm paraphrasing here, but I think you're gonna know what I mean. Female fireflies draw in strange males with dishonest signals and eat them, but I don't think evil exists within nature. It's just life pulsing on. And this entire metaphorical quote foreshadows what's going to happen at the end of the film. The poem Fireflies is read by Tate as he finds out that Kaya did kill Chase. She pushed him from the tower, she removed the shell from his neck, the red thread was from her beanie, and she did remove the evidence. The prosecutor was completely right in his argument, but this is her defense mechanism towards a man who would have haunted her for as long as he and she were alive. Her defense mechanism was to outsmart Chase, to definitively escape him, kill him. And at the same time, she outsmarted the entire town. And in the end, Tate finds his sense of self-belonging in the marsh with Kaya, where they live together for the rest of their lives. Kaya dies in her boat, which is understood by many to be from a heart attack. She dies exactly as she wanted, immersed in the atmosphere of nature, as if nature is peacefully taking her away for her to become one with the marsh that raised her. And in this same final scene, we see her mother in spirit, with shots of Kaya as a young girl, an older woman, and a young woman. And this all signifies that Kaya's death will transcend the limitations of time, where she and her mother can be together again. Tate burns the poem and crushes the shell on the shore, where the waves pull the pieces into the water. Every piece of Kaya's past, present, and future is spiritually right with her, in the home she belongs in, more than anywhere else. Alright, this is my analysis. Subscribe for weekly videos and please send me recommendations. And please let me know your thoughts on Where the Crawdads Sing. I would love to hear your thoughts and insights on both the book and the movie. I hope to see you again and thank you so much for watching. See you later.